hey everybody. Excited to be here to talk about the Purple Boys anthology with Purple Mattress and Tim and Eric. For those of you unfamiliar with Anthology, Anthology is Facebook approach to branded content. They're content and experiences that connect brands to culture and community through reimagined mobile experiences built with people's favorite storytellers. And when we think about the Purple Boys as an anthology and kind of what we did over last year, it brought a lot of laughs and a lot of sleep to the sleepless community across the country. So what we'd like to do before we get into any questions is just show you a case that talks in a bit more detail about the work.
How does content like this sell thousands upon thousands of mattresses in 12 weeks? Purple Mattress had built a successful e-commerce business, but in a crowded mattress marketplace, it was time to set themselves apart and build a brand. And then they asked a really tough question. Can branded content drive sales? First, we thought about an audience. The data showed us people that don't sleep well are up late on their phones. And what's more, they're up latest on their phones on Sunday nights. Why? The Sunday Scaries. That feeling of impending doom as your carefree weekend turns into work week worries.
Been there.
Then, we thought about content. In partnership with comedians Tim and Eric, we conceived the Purple Boys.
Purple Boys. Release your mind. Let the sleep flow through you.
Do you have 2 minutes of time to let me help you sleep?
This is finally sleep you can count on.
It's time to sleep.
A 6-episode content series, uniquely produced for where people that can't sleep are at, on their phones. We even made a podcast delivered in feed that let you listen to the Purple Boys in bed.
You earned this. And the reward is a deep, deep, deep.
Then we got down to business. We worked with Tim and Eric to create 72 short-form assets designed for the entire suite of Facebook and Instagram mobile formats, and designed a lower funnel system that tested 3 different motivating factors, saw what was driving brand building, awareness, and sales driving conversion, and optimized the content week to week.
He's asleep.
The results? In 12 weeks, the campaign received 8.5 million views, 35,000 shares, 32,000 comments, brand building success in recall, awareness, and preference over other mattress brands, and a 3.4 times return on ad spend by directly driving thousands of online purchases. Not to mention, a better Sunday night's sleep.
On a purple mattress we sleep.
Amazing. So where to begin with this one? I think we can start with introductions. I'm Addie Marino. I'm a creative at Facebook Creative Shop. I had the pleasure of working with everybody on stage today on the Purple Boys campaign.
Alex McArthur, CMO at Purple. I wish you could have all been there when I tried to sell this to the executive team.
Hi, I'm Josh Cohen. I am a senior producer with Absolutely.
I'm Sulamita Yang. I'm on the sales team on Facebook and work closely with Purple's marketing team day in and day out.
Cool. So let's start with a question for you, Alex. You've been the CMO of Purple for 3 years now. You've seen the company through a lot of growth, both on the creative side and on the business side. When you thought about, partnering up on this idea in terms of where Purple was in their life cycle, what were you looking to get out of this work and the partnership?
Yeah, so, you saw in that video there's a lot of brands. I imagine you've all seen hundreds of mattress ads, and you probably can't escape them. Purple really needed to break through the clutter, build a brand, and sell products. We didn't raise $250 million like Casper did. Our goal was to build a brand and have a direct response campaign that sold product. Right.
And had you ever tried to do both of those things at the same time before, either on or off of Facebook?
No, this was a first.
Cool. So I think a good follow-up question would be for Sula. When we typically think about brand content or content, we think about it being great at driving upper funnel metrics, brand lift and the like. What do you think it is about this work, this idea and the approach to building that enabled us to drive from the results that we saw both brand and DR kind of through the entire funnel?
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, it's not just about the idea of Sunday Scaries, right? It's very rare, actually, that on an idea alone you can drive sales. I would challenge that so much more of that was on us bringing forward a committed team, working with Purple, and really establishing a process that would work throughout the 12 weeks, and really came down to 3 key things to me. I think one is making sure we had complementary creative. Like, there's just no way, even though episodic content works, there's no way that just 6 episodes is gonna sell mattresses by itself. So we used our design team to really leverage that longer form and recut it into a ton of different static images, short form video, overlaying different text, different kind of call to action that's going to resonate with as many people as possible. And then secondly is just being able to optimize on the go. We literally, I think you saw a short clip of us kind of talking through an Excel sheet, but we literally had like weekly sprints where we talked about, you know, what we could do better, what levers to pull. We had Purple execute on that, and then our design team was nimble enough that we even made changes to creative based on our learnings. Like, oh, actually IG Stories isn't working, let's scratch that, let's do something that's carousel instead. And then lastly, I'm sure everyone here knows, is measurement and being smart about it and being aligned for it. And what was crucial for us is that, you know, we had to lay down a number of things. One key thing is for Purple Boys campaign, we separated that from the Purple Evergreen so that we could definitively say how much added value that it had, and then compare not only the reported results, but what's most important to any business is incrementality.
And when you think about the evolution of branded content or the extension of it into what we've been calling branded commerce, is that something that you're seeing a lot of disruptor brands kind of like embrace to kind of create an idea that can exist throughout the entire funnel?
Definitely. I think within disruptors, and for those of you who aren't as familiar, it's just an e-commerce brand that moves really fast, right? We don't work with as many agencies, as I'm a fish out of water here. And you know, you make changes right away, and for them, branded content has increasingly been the way to go because they really get the most bang for your buck, right? If you're just going to kind of have silo strategies for DR and brand, they kind of can undo each other. Your DR stuff is not going to be on brand, your brand stuff doesn't have like a clear conversion. So by collapsing that and really tying them together is kind of a no-brainer for advertisers that I work with.
Cool. So shifting over to the creative for a second, and we'll talk to you, Josh. When we think about a lot of the successes of Anthology, what we really like to do is ensuring, we've heard the word authenticity today, is making sure that the brands and storytellers that we partner together can maintain as much of their authentic self as possible. And I think in the case of Tim and Eric and Purple, it kind of seems like the partnership has existed forever. Can you talk a little bit about Tim and Eric's process working with brands, particularly Purple? And then I think what maybe is even more interesting, talk a bit about some of the tension that may have existed at certain points in time between what Tim and Eric wanted to do being artistes and what Purple wanted to do in terms of you know, driving the business.
Well, Tim and Eric, and absolutely, are a very specific brand in and of themselves. So I remember having a conversation early on when we were asked to do this. I think I said to Andre that it's important that we maintain our brand while making this product for Purple. So that was important for Tim and Eric. As you can see, this is a very anti-commercial driven creative, and that's the way these guys like to work. And as far as the on-set conflict, I mean, there was a
I didn't say conflict. I said
tension. Yeah, there was a sheet that was given to me, and it's like, okay, Purple and Facebook want Tim and Eric to say these things.
Yep.
And I knew that Tim and Eric wouldn't say half of what you guys gave me, so I filtered that sheet. We had them read it, and a lot of that stuff made it into the episodes.
Yeah, they read it like completely
because they read it.
dead.
Yeah, they read it in such an absurd way. So,
and it worked, and it totally
and it
worked.
really worked.
Yeah. Cool. So question for the group, I know we have many brands in the audience today. When we're thinking about the future of branded content or the evolution into branded commerce, what role do you think product plays? And anybody can answer.
So again, not to use the word, overuse the word authenticity too much. And Sean, if you don't mind, do you have like a squahar you can throw me?
Oh, yeah.
So we wanted to push the mattress, right? That's what we sell. And the Tim and Eric guys loved this little product. And it's something that they, in their own way, they felt comfortable, talking about this. Internally at Purple, we call this a squishy. Tim and Eric called it a squahar because it's square, I guess.
Say it again.
Squahar. Squahar.
Bar.
And so now, like all of a sudden on social media, we're bombarded with comments about the squahar. So we let them, again, because they won all the debates, right? No, we let them do what they felt comfortable with, and authentically they wanted to share. And so this became something that we had never pushed, but all of a sudden it's something that people were interested in.
Yeah. Does anybody else have anything to add in terms of?
I mean, the idea with Tim and Eric was that you could put that thing on your forehead, and it.
We have a clip. Should I play it?
Oh yeah, we should.
play
I
a
mean,
clip?
we
Play
should
the
play
All
the
right.
clip because it doesn't make any
Arranged.
sense in the
Yeah.
real world at all. None of this does.
If I can play it.
Go, Gino.
Quirky, this is what we're talking about. This is the technology. This is the squahar.
It's going to help us monitor Joe Dunder's sleep and ensure that he gets ideal sleep.
Mr. Dunder, I'm going to apply the squahar to your forehead. It's going to help you fall right to sleep.
And let the magic begin.
Joe.
Come
Go,
on, Joe,
Joe.
you
Go.
got it.
Go.
Come on,
Go.
Joe.
Joe. Go, Joe.
Go, Joe, go.
Go.
Go, Joe, go. Go, Joe, go. Go, Joe. Come on, Joe. Come on, get to sleep. You got it, Joe. You got it. Go, Joe. Get under.
He's falling asleep. Joe. Go, Joe.
He's out.
We're committed to the squahar, and we're committed to Purple experiences.
I kept my job through this whole thing. I'm still amazed.
So this is a perfect question then. So this is really brave. I think a lot of people have called the work deranged. How do you think about building creative to take risks, and what kind of gave you the courage, everybody the courage, to put something like this out there?
So for me, you see people in the past like invest a lot into a creative piece and think, if this doesn't work, we're screwed. In the way that we can work on the Facebook platform now, we can make adjustments. We can do re-edits. We can, there were 1,500 variations of ads that we put out there. So we can find what works. And that's what's exciting about creative now. You can try something that breaks through the clutter, that's very different. But if it's not working, you can make adjustments and find a way to make it work. And I don't think many people think that way yet, and I think that's an adjustment we'll see in the next few years.
Sula or Josh?
Gosh. I think I just want to insert kind of an anecdote in our last minute of what, proved to, I really needed to be convinced with this, and my job is on the line. Tim and Eric, I feel I might not be its audience. So I was just like, what is happening? And I was proved so wrong because that podcast that played earlier, I wouldn't believe it, but it literally drove the highest return. And what's insane to me, and I didn't even want to run it, is that when you click, it just plays the podcast. It doesn't even go to a site. I was just like, how is this happening? And obviously on Facebook, you hear salespeople like myself be like, views through, post impression, et cetera. Well, luckily they baked that in, and it was just driving so many people to just go to the site after listening to a podcast. But I think why it also worked is we were smart. It wasn't like the thing that we led with. Like if they didn't establish a connection with Tim and Eric and with Purple, right, it's not gonna have that impact. So we kind of slotted in at like week 6, week 7, and it was just that sweet spot where, people were kind of exposed to this derangedness and they just wanted more, so much that they buy like $2,000 mattresses. So it works.
Just
Cool.
release your mind. That's all you have to do to enjoy this content.
Cool. So that's it for us. But before we go, we have one treat for everybody in the audience. Alex?
Because it's Sundance and people love free stuff and everybody wants a squahar, we have boxes of squahars right here.
Throw them out.
So you can either come grab one, I can chuck one at you, I can shoot it at you the same way we did over there.
You get a squahar, you get a squahar. It's like an Oprah.
These are all
story.
stuck. Yeah.
I'm not very much.
So yeah, you can come grab one, or
My
I
God, these
can throw one out there. Anybody else wants one?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Let me throw some.
Take them.
I'm gonna shoot one at you back
It's
there.
the real material in the.
Oh, I just hit somebody in the head.
There you go, brother. Squahar, anybody? Of course, yeah. Whatever you need to do.
Me too.